Hello everyone, welcome back to Simulated Heaven. And as you can see, I'm in a new game which is called Railway Empire. This is a game that actually comes out in January of next year, I believe, but I was lucky enough to get granted preview access by the developers. If you were to buy the game right now on Steam, you would be able to play a slightly feature limited version of the game, which they call the beta version of the game. This is a more unlocked version, so I thought what I would do is do a video to start one of the scenarios. I didn't want to do the campaign because I didn't want to do so many long videos or whatever. I thought a scenario is a good way to show the features of the game, how the game works, things like that. I would say that I'm not an expert in this game. I've played it for about 3 or 4 hours. I have kind of the basics down, so if you see me do anything wrong or you have any hints or tips of what you think I should be doing, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Now, when you see what the developers are saying about this game, to me the main things that they seem to be lauding are the fact that this game will have mod support from Steam Workshop very quickly, it seems, and also they are lauding it as the first railway tycoon game on the next generation consoles. I believe that will be the Xbox One and PS4. So I think it'll be interesting, right, to see how this game works out. Now obviously there's a campaign. Like I said, there are these scenarios which have a set amount of tasks you need to complete. And from my first impressions, they seem to be quite long. I mean, it might be that I'm a bad player, but for me it seems to be taking me quite a while to work through these. Free mode means that you basically are only limited with your money, and you have AI competition, but there's no actual tasks or structure that you need to complete. Obviously the sandbox mode means you can do whatever you want, unlimited money, and also you have no other competition. Okay, in the options, I suppose I should also say, of course, this is a preview version of the game, so when the game is fully released in January, some of these things might be altered or changed. So I just thought I'd show you the graphics options. So you can see not particularly a lot really, but again, this is a early version of the game. Obviously I have the music all the way down. Actually the music in this game is pretty decent, but I just need to be super careful with the copyright on YouTube. Okay, so let's see if we can start a scenario. Now, as you can see, we get all these scenarios. Now, I'm going to do an easy one because I'm not very good at the game, you know. So we can start in various time frames, and as you can see, that also changes how hard it is. So I'm going to go with the first option here, and it's easy. It says, Gold Rush. After the initial discoveries of gold, hundreds of thousands flocked to California in search of their fortune. But it's not only gold that is being exploited, bringing wealth even to the sunny state. The entire region is experiencing explosive economic growth. Just imagine what would happen if a resourceful businessman had already built a railroad empire in California at this time. So, that's the backdrop of this scenario. So we're going to continue. You can see that we can't choose anything other than realistic or easy. I was almost about to say simple, but they call it easy. It's the same thing, whatever. So obviously we're easy. Now that means that you can ghost. The trains can basically ghost to each other. I believe that's what it is, but I've never actually tried this. I always go with realistic on the signals. Yeah, and you'll see I sometimes struggle with the signals. So if any of you guys have any ideas about that, that would be great. Okay, let's
Your
continue.
search is over. You found what you're looking for, partner.
So, let's hope I have, eh? They have a group of characters you can choose. The only thing that affects is each of them will give you a bonus. This one will give you a 10% lower track construction.
Hey, it's...
I did an evaluation.
Totally clueless, these...
Surely you must be a...
I always tell the truth.
Together, we shall conquer them all.
I don't really want to waste your time with all, because they all have, like, voice lines. I don't want to waste your time with that. But you can see what the bonuses were if you like to go back and pause the video. So I'm going to go with this guy because I know that I'm going to need a 10% lower cost of track construction, because in this scenario...
Strong leadership and discipline are the path to victory.
You don't say. In this scenario, I kind of already know that it's going to be quite a lot of track construction. I suppose it's always going to be a lot, but anyway. Okay, sim railways. Okay, let's continue.
Are you a...
I am a man. I'm not a mouse. Thanks for that. Here we go. So I can't...
Another soldier of fortune. Or are you a businessman with a nose for profitable operations? I imagine many a gold hunter would pay a pretty penny not to have to walk the journey to their claims. Your fancy locomotives will be just the ticket. I have noted down everything you need to know in your task list. Good luck.
Why, thank you. So you can see that this game has some voice acting even in the scenarios. Not a lot from what I can see, but at least it's there at the beginning. Okay, so I can't really pause the game, but I can show you what the map is like. Now this is as far out as I can zoom, so it's kind of hard to show you the whole map in one. I mean, there might be a different way of zooming out, but this is the furthest I've actually worked out how to zoom out myself. So these newspapers, I believe, are supposed to give you hints as to what you could do. As to what you could do in the game, I believe. I don't really use them, but then again, maybe I'm an idiot. Who knows? Yeah, the graphics in this game don't really blow me away, but they're pretty decent for this style of game. I mean, you can see we've got some farms over here. You know, relatively detailed and everything, and there's like farm buildings, there's people there, look, see, horse and carts, and then it's kind of a similar theme when you get to the towns. Here's San Francisco in 1850. You know, they've attempted to add some kind of life into the towns and the cities. Let me show you one more before we start. Here we go, Sacramento. There you go. So now what we need to do is we're going to start the basics of this scenario. And like I said, I'm not an expert. I might do things wrong, you know. And I'm kind of expecting in the latter half of the scenario, if I'm able to get near completion, I might need help from you guys to help me to know what to do. Anyway, the basics here, we need to connect the cities of San Francisco, Shasta, I maybe said that wrong, and Carson City. Okay, so San Francisco, Shasta, and Carson City. So let's do that to begin with. So San Francisco, now I believe Carson City is over here, and then so the other one, go away. I was trying to delete this. Here we go. So we've got this one up here, this one down here, and this one over here. Now the problem we have is we've got a huge mountain range in the middle. Now when you're making train tracks, you need to be very careful at the beginning when you don't have loads of money, that you need to find a path that will be the cheapest in terms of the train track. Otherwise, in my experience, you will run out of money. So if I tried to tunnel through this mountain, I would basically run out of money. So my plan is to first connect San Francisco with this place up here, and then at a later date join up Carson City around here, around this mountain range, and then I'll probably include Sacramento, because I believe one of my tasks is to have 8 cities with a population of at least 80,000, which is quite a lot. So we do need to try to build up other towns and cities, whatever they are. You do this by obviously having the passenger train, but also like connecting up the farms and things. Yeah, it's not entirely realistic, because in real life I don't think you'd have a railway that is actually connecting farms and things, but I suppose for a game scenario, you know, that's fine, right? Anyway, so what we're going to do now, what I usually do, what I have been trying to do, this might be foolhardy, is I do usually try to start, and again there's another newspaper, I do usually try to start to use the 100,000 train station. I tell you why, because that has got 2 tracks. This one has 1 track. Now I'm not very good at organising my train tracks, because the more that you build up your trains, obviously the more congested your train tracks will get. And to be honest, I don't think I've quite mastered how to organise this well. So what I usually do is I usually buy the 100,000 straight away on my main cities, rightly or wrongly, because then you've got 2 tracks to work with. So then I usually try to use 1 set of tracks. Where are we going to put this? For the, let's get rid, yeah, okay, let's get rid of that. Okay, that's going to be a pain. If it, can it only go there? Because then because I don't want to go over the water, because like I said, it costs you more money to go over water. Come on, man. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, excuse me. There's already a train station here. Whoops. I forgot that. Oh dear. So let's put one up here then. Whoops, it's a good job I realised that. So we want to put one, I think, like this. So yeah, so what I usually do is try to have one of the tracks for the kind of inter-city connections, and then I try to have the other track for local farms that you're trying to join up. That's the plan. Whether that works, not entirely sure. You can kind of see that when you build a train station, the name of the city will come up on the train station, and you can see that, you know, they try to populate it with some life, you know. Okay, so now what we're going to do is work out the best route to send our... Whoopsie. We're not going to really bother with Sacramento yet. Now the problem with this, I don't think I want to try to build a bridge yet, because that will cost me too much money. So let's just have this right hand side track. So I believe the only time the game will pause that I've seen is when you are making tracks, when you are building tracks. And I've also found out you need to be kind of careful with this tool. Sometimes when you try and do really large things, it freaks out. So sometimes if you want to get a nice curve, you have to do it in quite a small, short way first. Is it going to give us green anytime soon? There we go. So let me just zoom out. So actually, come to think of it, we're going to have to go over at some point. So why don't we, because I'm going to bring Sacramento in at some point. So let's see how much it costs. And it kind of tells you how much incline there is. I believe, what I would imagine, that the more the incline is, the slower your train will be, etc, etc. So let's see. If we can go via Sacramento anyway, that may help us in the future. So we're going to try to go up here, next to the river, being careful not to go over the river, because like I said, the more that you go, you know, whenever you make a bridge or a tunnel or whatever, it's going to cost you way more money. And right now, I don't have that money. Right, so what we got? So I believe I'm going to aim for this inside track and use the outside track for the local traffic. Okay, so now we have our first, and you need to click here for pay and build. We have our first train line, and it seems pretty good. Now, what you need to, I mean, okay, we have got kind of a raised area. You can't, it's hard for you to avoid that. Maybe you can if you're super careful, but hey, that was not too bad. Now, I want to try to get my first train up and running ASAP to start making money. But what we want to do before we add a train is I want to add a supply tower. Now, every track that you make, every route that you make, you need a supply tower, because that's where they will obviously pick up their water and things that they need for them to work. There you go, supply tower. And actually, the graphics and the textures of all of the objects in this game are actually pretty cool, you know, pretty well detailed, which is nice. Okay, so now I believe we can start our first train. So, new train. Let's first see, let's first see what trains in our engine shed we have unlocked. Not a lot. We only have one choice, right? So we have this one choice. Now it says it's suitable for freight, but if you set automatically, like automatic, I believe it will still pick up the passengers as well, but I could be wrong. And again, like I said, it seems like the modelling in this game is pretty well detailed, which is cool. Now, one of the things is I don't like to buy the trains here because then it kind of confuses me how to add that train onto a route. So what I usually do is go to this icon here, new train, and I usually set up a rail line. So I click on San Francisco, I click on Shasta, or however you say that. If I'm saying that wrong, please let me know. You see, that's our base thing. And like I said, I usually choose automatic. You can choose express, freight, manual. I'm not even sure what manual means. To be honest, I've only really used automatic thus far, but I maybe need to look into those other things. If anyone knows, I mean, obviously freight only and express is quite obvious, but the manual, I'm sure you wouldn't want to use that, but I could be wrong. Okay, so then we save this route. It's a very nice, simple route, and then we need to add a train. We buy this. This is our only option. We come here. Now the only thing that I would say here is it would be nice for me to see on this screen whether this train is suitable for freight or for passengers or whatever. I can't seem to find it on this screen. It would be really nice because I can never really remember what each of the trains is good for, you know. Anyway, let's buy the train. Now, you can usually add engineer, stoker, or a conductor or security guard, but this icon here called personnel, you can see that there isn't anyone there, so that, you know, usually if there's a number there, that is telling you that your train has, you know, that there are personnel waiting that you can have on your train. At the moment there aren't any, so let's buy the locomotive, close this down, and one cool thing is you can center your train. So it's already going. There she is. Lovely jubbly. She's looking pretty good, isn't she? You know, I think they've made a pretty decent attempt at the graphics. I would like to get closer, if I'm honest. In this view, I would love to be able to get a bit closer. You can get farther out like this, you see, but you can't get any closer than that. It's not bad, but I'd rather get closer. And for some reason I can't angle the screen. It would be nice to be able to angle it down, or, you know, to change the angle more in this view, but it's a nice camera, right? We can also ride along. So this is kind of cool. Oops. Excuse me. So we can move the camera. You can see. We can also change where the camera's looking. So yeah, it's kind of cool, right? Now I don't want to follow for too long because I'll be losing a lot of time, wasting time. Now that's our first train. Then if I close this, I can look on this train list over here, and that's a good thing that you can have up to show you the amount of money that your train is making, which is kind of cool. Oh, it's coming into its first stop here. Let's watch this happen for fun. Things just kind of vanish and reappear. There you go. And then it will go in the other direction. There she goes. Okay, now, actually, the next thing I'm going to do, excuse me if I'm coughing. Like I said in the last video, I have been recovering from illness. The last thing in this video that I want to show you, too slow. What I want to do actually is show you the next thing that I would like to do. Okay, excuse me, I need to have a drink of water here. In England we'd say wet the whistle. I need to wet the whistle. Lubricate the organs. Organs? Vocal cords even. So I kind of want to show you, when I would like to add multiple trains on this route, what I've been doing, and this might not be the best solution, is in certain parts of the track I will try and build a secondary track, if that makes any sense. I don't want to get in the way of this one, so let's try to start maybe here, and we can kind of experiment. So as you can see, you need to be careful. You know, sometimes it's hard to get it to go green exactly where you want it to be green. Now this is going to go over there quite a lot. Where is that Sacramento? I think it's further down there. Okay, that looks better. Excuse me again. Maybe I shouldn't be making videos yet, but sorry about that, I just can't help myself. Okay, there you go. So that's what I've been doing. Making a little siding. Now, I could be doing this totally wrong. But what I've been doing is I've been building, let's get out of here, been building a signal, and I've been putting one over here. Excuse me again. So for example, I've been putting one that's going this way, and then you press the shift key, you click on it, you click on the thing, and you see then it means that trains can't go that way, right? Oh, then I try and do the opposite. So I put a normal signal on the other side, like that. And then I come up here, and I do this. I click on it again with the shift key. I make another signal on the other side, like that. Now, like I said, that could be wrong, but that's what I've been doing. It seems to work, because it means that the trains will only go one direction. I haven't had any accidents yet, and I've found in this game that what will happen is the trains don't crash. When they get in a situation where they're about to crash, they usually just stop. I'm wondering if I should put a normal signal here. But the thing that confuses me is the direction. Okay, I just had to pause the video there and have some honey water. I started to cough too much. Maybe I should have held off on making videos before I got better. So I apologise for the coughing and that. I didn't want to waste this video because I got quite a long way through it. Anyway, we are near the end now. So like I was saying, I always put the signals like this. Sometimes I feel I need to put a signal here, but I never do. The trains seem to work fine. If you have any advice about that, I'd love to hear it. So let's do the same, because I feel like I need to do the same in other spots to enable me to have more trains. Now, I don't want to do it with a bridge, do I? Let's just do one more up here, shall we? Kind of the same style. The incline is quite a lot, but I think it's just whatever. The cost is low. I do find as well you have to make sure it's long enough, because if it's too short, the trains get stuck anyway. Signals. So let's do the same. Oops. Oh, why did it go that way? You demolish. Whoops, wrong button. That's better. Shift, click. Okay, so now I'm going to just... It's not perfect, but it'll do for now. Actually, I want to put one more supply tower up the top here. Like that. Okay, so it's not perfect, but I'm just going to show you how to add more trains. So I go to new train. Actually, no, I don't. I go to the train line we have already, and I go to the first option, clone train, like so. So I'm going to try buying 2 more of these trains, so we have 3 on the go. Oops, I've got one here, new rail line. Not quite sure how to delete that, but let's just ignore that for now. Okay. Now let's see how this works. Okay. There's 2 trains coming. Let's go up the top. Oh, you see there's a train here waiting now, you see? It's not ideal because the train has to wait a long time. In the future, I'll try and add another siding here somewhere. Here we go. Let's do this. It'll be cool to see the other train coming. And like I said, the trains don't crash, but sometimes they get stuck when they don't work properly, and the only thing you can do is delete the train. That's what I've found anyway. Here it comes. There she goes. See? So it does seem to work pretty okay. There she goes. Now I assume the other train is now waiting up here, is it? Let's go check. Because I believe there was one more train. So, like I said, it's not ideal, but it's just to show you the basics of one way that you can set up your trains at the beginning. Yeah, this one is waiting. All the people on board will be very upset. Yep, it's full of only passengers. So you can see here it tells you what's on the train. Now, one thing I'm going to do actually, well, let's wait for this train just to make sure it works. Now obviously this gets more and more complicated the more trains and train lines that you add. Okay, I thought the trainer was waiting then, but it's actually refilling itself at the supply tower, so that's fine. Got a little bit worried there. There we go. So as you can see, it works. And it also helps here because you can see how much money each train is making. Now, what I'm going to do now, last thing, is click on the train station. I'm going to add a construction maintenance building. Here it is. Because otherwise all my trains will break down a lot. Now, in the future, I will also add one up the top, but not yet. Okay guys, so thanks for watching this first video. Again, I apologise for the coughing. Maybe the part 2 episode will be a few more days until I feel a bit better. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.